Good morning, friends. Now we are taking agents of pollination. First of all, we will take wind pollination. It is also called as anemophily. Anemophily. Whenever the pollination takes place by wind, then the process is called as anemophily. Characteristics of such kind of flowers: those participated in wind pollination, those pollinated by wind pollination. Pollen grains are very light, so that they can easily fly from one flower to another flower, from one place to another place, and they may have air sac or wings. Okay, air sac or wings, so that the air can be filled inside their air sac, or so that they becomes lighter in weight and they can easily transfer from one place to another place. Where wings are also helpful. If wings are present in pollen, if they are also helpful in their flying, and they can easily transfer from one place to other place. Now the flowers are small and are colorless, small and colorless. Generally these flowers are smaller and colorless. Why they are colorless? Because of there is no requirement of any attraction of insects and all this, so that's why these are colorless. Dull colors flowers are there, and odorless. There is no odor. Any type of fragrance or nectar gland is not present in such kind of flowers. Okay, now pollen grains are dry. These pollen grains are dry, non-sticky. Why they are so? Because of when the flower then pollens are dry, they can lighter weight, and they can easily transfer from one place to another place, one flower to another flower, and they are non-sticky. They are non-sticky. They should be non-sticky. So whenever they are sticky, then they can be attached to any other substratum, any other barrier which is present in between two flowers. Finally we can say the pollen grains should be dry and non-sticky. The next characteristics of such kind of flowers, those pollinated by wind pollination: anthers have long filament and abundant. Means actually these type of flower have a long filamentous anther and very exposed anthers, so that they will be very easily come in contact with the wind, and they can easily digest and they release their pollen grains. Okay, the stigma are sticky and feathery. The stigma, the receptive organ which is going to take part in receiving of pollen grains, is sticky, so that it can easily catch the pollens, and is feathery, so that it can be easily it will be easily helpful in trapping up pollen grains. Those are coming by wind. And these are the examples of mulberry, date palm, grass, coconut, willow, maize, swar. Most of the members of Gramineae family belongs to such kind of flowers, those pollinated by wind pollination. Okay, so this is about this. Sometime pollen grains present in atmosphere, present in air, they can cause allergy, such kind of fever, hay fever, allergic reaction due to presence of pollen in airs. You know very well about this. Pollen grains are the we can say best example of we can say allergens. So whenever the pollen grains are present in atmosphere, they can cause hay fever, allergic reaction due to presence of pollen in air. Okay, remember this: hay fever. This is what? Allergic reaction. Okay, this is related to hyperactivity of our immune system. Now let's take hydrophily. Water pollination. The process of water pollination is also called as hydrophily, and such kind of flowers have some special characters for completion of their water pollination. Flowers are small flowers, so that they should not come in we can say वाटर करंट ज़्यादा इनको इनहेबिट नहीं कर पाएगा, ज़्यादा वाटर इनको टच नहीं करेगा, so that they can easily we can survive inside the water. Okay, and the colorless, there is no requirement of color, odor and nectar in such kind of flowers, because of this colored flower, order with odors flower, nectar and nectar glands, we can say, such kind of characteristics of the flowers pollinated by insect pollination. But whenever the flower pollinated by water, so there is there should be colorless, odorless, nectarless. This is not required. Okay, so these are the characteristics of this. And stigma is very long, so that stigma can trap more number of pollen grains coming by water. Sticky and unwettable. Okay, this stigma should be sticky, so that this long and sticky, both characters helpful in trapping up more number of pollen grains. And unwettable, अगर ये गीली नहीं होगी तो ये इजीली ट्रैप कर पाएगी pollen grains को. So water pollination is of two types. Epihydrophily. Epi means upper, on surface of water. Whenever water pollination takes place on the surface of water, the Vallisneria is the best example of this. And hypohydrophily, inside the water. Whenever the flower is completely submerged inside the water, and then pollination takes place, then this is called as hypohydrophily. Zostera and Ceratophilum are the best example of this. This is the special case. When a special case is given, you can pause this video and study about this. Okay. Now we'll discuss about the Entemophily. The pollination takes place by insect pollination is the condition called as Entemophily. The flowers in such conditions, whenever the flower is going to pollinate by the insect, the flower should be colored. It may be bluish or purplish or violet or yellow, so that it can attract the bees and some insects, butterflies, wasps, etc. So flower should be bright in color. Flowers commonly passes an aroma or a scent, है ना. फ्लावर एक डिफरेंट कलर की खुशबू फ्रेग्रेंस को एमिट करेगा. विजिटिंग इंसेक्ट्स आर फेड बाय आइदर नेक्टर और पोलन. जो विजिटिंग इंसेक्ट्स होंगे, दे are generally come on that particular flower by feeding nectar, or they can take pollen as their food. So at the time of taking up this, the pollen grains will be attached with their appendages and wings, and they can be carried by these insects from one flower to another flower. Pollen grains are sticky. They should be sticky, because of whenever they stick on the wings and appendages of the insects, they can easily carry from one place to another place. And stigma are also sticky. So this is the receiving organ of the flower. This should be also sticky, so that it can be easily stick the pollen grains. Now we will discuss about Ornithophily. In this condition, when the flower pollinated by different birds, with the help of different birds, then this is called as Ornithophily. Such kind of flowers should be large and strong, with abundant with nectar and edible parts. ये बड़े फ्लावर होते हैं, स्ट्रॉन्ग होते हैं, और इनमें नेक्टर और जो एडिबल पार्ट होता है वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा मात्रा में होगा, तभी यहाँ पर बर्ड्स इन पे आएंगे और बर्ड पोलिनेशन पॉसिबल होगा. बॉम्बेक्स, अगेव, ब्यूटा, बिग्नोनिया आर द बेस्ट एग्जाम्पल ऑफ flowers which pollinated by birds. Now we will discuss about this. First point, pollination by birds is common in coral trees and bottle brush and silk, cotton trees, etc. Two types of longs, beak. कौन से birds होते हैं? Birds. What kind of birds are helpful in bird pollination? Beaked small birds, चोंच वाले और स्मॉल बर्ड्स होने चाहिए. चोंच तो सब में होती है लेकिन लॉन्ग बीक होती है जनरली. द लॉन्ग बीक एंड स्मॉल बर्ड्स आर जनरली यूजफुल इन ornithophily, of course in pollination. Sunbirds and hummingbirds, you know very well, are the smallest bird of the world, smallest bird of the class Aves. Other birds are bulbul and parrot, crow, etc. They are also helpful in ornithophily, or we can say bird pollination. Okay, so we have to concentrate on the flower. What kind of flowers will be there, and what kind of birds will be there for this condition. Okay. Now Chirpterophily in pollination by bats. Such flowers are pollinated a large dull colored and produces a strong aroma. Large होंगे, dull colored होंगे, flower, a strong aroma they should produce. Chirpterophilous flowers produces abundant pollen grains, बहुत मात्रा में pollen grains produce करेंगे, and secrete more nectar than the ornithophilous flower. Ornithophilous flowers जो होते हैं, जो bird pollinated flowers होते हैं, उनसे काफ़ी ज़्यादा मात्रा में ये flowers को नेक्टर को प्रोड्यूस करेंगे. पेट कैरी आउट द पॉलिनेशन इन एडेंसोनिया में सबसे ज़्यादा मतलब इसका बेस्ट एग्जांपल है चायरोप्टेरोफिलस फ्लावर एंड काइगेलिया. ओके, नाउ वी विल डिस्कस अबाउट द मेलेकोफिली pollination by snail. So examples are the Arysema or snake or cobra plants, and some lilies are the examples of Malacophilous flowers. Malacophilous flowers means pollination takes place by snails. If the pollination takes place by snails, it is called as Malacophily, and such flowers are called as Malacophilous flowers. And these are the snake, cobra plant, and some lilies are the best example of such kind of pollination or flower, you can say. Now pollination by ants. Myrmecophily. Pollination of flowers by ant is called as Myrmecophily. Okay, the plants that are pollinated by ant are called Myrmecophytes. Such plants are called as Myrmecophytes, and examples included some members of family Rubiaceae के कुछ members जो हैं वो इस कैटेगरी को बिलोंग करते हैं. Rubiaceae का जहाँ तक मुझे याद आ रहा है, Rubiaceae का member जो है Euphorbia. And this is the summary of all type of pollination. So pollination classified into self and cross pollination. This is the definition. The definition of different type of pollination is also given along with their types. So this is self pollination. Self pollination is autogamy and zytonogamy. Autogamy is also classified into two categories: cosmogamy, crystogamy, and the cross pollination is the one and only type, the xenogamy. Okay, so this is the outline summary, we can say, of the complete type, all type of pollination. This is enough for this video. We will continue by the next video. Thank you.